What's up?
Hey, everybody.
How you doing, man? Hide your valuables. We're back.
How's the weather over there in California?
It's really nice. It's like,
Nice.
I mean, it feels like it's cold, and then you walk outside and it's warm, and like so that means that the house is cold. But it's like 64 where we're at with a little bit of drizzle to the hizzle,
Awesome.
and should be like 46 tonight.
Yeah.
And yeah, because it was getting warm there, man. It was feeling. I mean, it's been kind of hard to get into the Christmas vibe for some reason. Probably because 2020.
Yeah.
But the wind starts kicking up, and you're like, "Here we go!" Next thing you know, man, it's like all over the news. But so far, so good.
Awesome.
How about Houston?
It just rolled in last night, overnight. Yesterday was kind of depressingly warm for it being, the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
But, in perfect timing, it's nice and chilly here. For us, 40s is chilly. So,
Yeah.
we're lucky that it because I think most people agree, when it's not cold for Christmas, it's kind of a bummer. So,
yeah. Welcome to the Vega Brothers Music and Movie Hour, Episode 2, our holiday extravaganza. We have Dolly Parton coming in later on, and no, I know it's not quite the extravaganza, but it's our first one, so we'll take it, man. And I guess before we kick off, we should mention that Leslie West passed away yesterday, right?
Yeah, man, what a bummer.
It's a total bummer, man, because he was only 75. I always expected him to be older because of the time that he was around. And, I didn't know he was only 75. So he started out young.
Yeah. I think back like Mississippi Queen days and everything, he was really young when he was like early 20s or something. Yeah.
And he was the guy, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I remember you turning me on to him and saying he was the guy, He was
he's weird. It's like he's a couple, maybe one generation or two generation older than me. And he was the guy at the time that was just killing it. Obviously, Hendrix was part, and of course Eric Clapton and all, the Jeff Beck. But he was that American guy, man, that was representing. And I often hear like guys like Howard Stern talk about, because in his college years, that's basically his college years, talks about how much of what a badass Leslie was and still is, and
I've never even seen like the old footage of him in his young prime, I just know the records, that I've heard.
Yeah, I know he's incredibly fluid and just, his attack.
The tone.
His attack. Yeah, and the tone. I saw him play once, and it was definitely mind-blowing. It was like an all-star jam.
You saw him live?
I only saw him play like 2 songs. It was an all-star jam.
How did you stumble into watching an all-star jam?
It was a trade show situation at the NAMM convention.
Okay. So it was like an older version.
Yeah, he was with he's been with Dean Guitars for quite some time.
Okay.
And props to Dean, man, because they've for taking on someone like Leslie and someone like Michael Schenker and just helping him carry the flag and they had an all-star jam there, and he showed up, and man, at these trade show things, you're always so tired, and you're like, man, I'm ready to go. And I know he came out early on, and he blew the roof off the place, and it's just as guitar players get older, sometimes they're not quite as sharp,
Yeah.
And because they don't woodshed as much, obviously,
Sure.
And he was on it. He was really on it, and I also was really happy to see how healthy you looked, you know, because he had lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. I kind of was keeping track with all that stuff, and from a nerd, guitar nerd standpoint, you know, if any listeners might not know much about Leslie West, he was one of the first guys that I know of that just used that one pickup in the back. You know, he was a big Les Paul Juniors, and even like his guitars with Dean, you know, the modern versions, he just had that one single pickup in the back. That was like his thing, his bridge, just the bridge pickup. And man, he always got a killer tone, man. Just always sounded great. Oh, and the other thing was his voice, man. Not a lot of those blues rock phenoms from that time were they weren't known for being virtuoso singers, and he had a great,
he did. I mean, voice. Mississippi Queen when it comes to
man.
You know, it's just like,
to me, when you hear that, hearing it as a kid through to now, you always you think you're hearing an older guy, kind of like a blues guy.
Yeah.
But man, he was in his early 20s when he was doing that stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Unbelievable guitar tone and vibrato and just an amazing voice. And he definitely left his mark, man.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace, Leslie West. Now I got to dig into the catalog and get a little more educated on it. He was a couple generations ahead of me, man.
Sure.
That's one of the greatest things about the availability of music today is that it's easy to dig deep and go backwards.
Yep.
Very cool, man. So what are we doing on this show? What are we covering here?
This is our holiday special, right?
We're going to be covering our top 5 holiday albums. Picked specifically by Tony and myself. These are recommends. These are albums that are on our playlist every holiday season, and it's definitely geared more towards the muso guitar aficionado, probably. I'm guessing. I haven't seen your list.
And that's what's cool about it. It's good that we don't share this with each other, And
then we're going to do our top gear pick for 2020. It's been a crazy year. A lot of products came out. A lot of really cool stuff available this year, and probably no place to go actually play it because of 2020. And so we're going to give you our favorite guitar-oriented gear picks. And then we're going to go through, of course, the movie session. So we got a music session, a gear session, and a movie session all lined up for you because we're going to talk about our favorite holiday horror recommendations. And then we're going to go through and we're going to cover our main feature, which is
the Shudder exclusive Creep Show holiday special.
Yep.
The first and only one.
That's right, man.
That's right.
Did you see the did you see the other ones? The
series?
Yeah.
Animated. I have not finished the animated special because I started watching it with Vincent, my 11-year-old. And it was a bit more mature than I expected it. I didn't expect, I knew there would be some horror and gore elements, but you never think that there's going to be, some mature adult content.
There was, man.
I stopped watching and I'm going to save that for myself, and then then I'll give you but I did watch the entire series, and this holiday special is considered part of the Creep Show series on Shudder.
For sure. Cool, man. We'll cover a little bit more of that. All right, man, let's dive in. Let's go straight into our favorite holiday albums. I think we're supposed to do 5. If you went over 5, that's fine.
I did 5. I can always do honorable mentions.
Sweet.
I did 5 and I cheated a little bit.
Okay.
Because for me, it's not really like just records, even though there are some records in the list. For me, when it comes to like Christmas time, it's usually just songs, that have meant a lot to me over the years, and maybe nostalgia has a lot to do with it. Even links to Dad, songs that reminded me of Dad from the old.
Sure.
You know,
that's great, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, here we go. Tony Vega's top favorite holiday albums, and go.
All right. My number 5 is one of my very favorite bluesmen of all time. That's Freddie King and Christmas Tears. And man, it's just, perfect blues, electric blues Christmas song. Freddie's the guy that no matter what record you put on, no matter what song you put on, you never want to forward it to the next track. And that's what was amazing about him. It was all about the tunes, first and foremost, no matter whether it was an instrumental or a holiday tune. There's always a great song there. And not to mention the taste, tone, his voice, man, just one of my favorite all-time singers,
Fantastic.
So that's number 5. Number 4, Christmas with Willie Nelson. Great record.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm a big Willie guy, especially as I get older, man. It's just every song is a story, and that voice, man, is just like unmistakably soulful.
Are there originals on there, or is it all traditional?
Oh no, it's all standards, and there's a couple there that aren't your run to the mill standards, but it's all the typical ones you hear, but Willie doing them in his prime, And then number 3 is, I'm sure, on a lot of people's lists, and it's a song by Nat King Cole. Just reminds me of my parents.
Sure.
You can never go wrong hearing that holiday season.
Is that the one you put on when the family goes to bed and you
put the on
and you just put on your smoking jacket, sit by the fire, and have a single malt scotch.
I was just gonna say a scotch. Yeah, scotch on the rocks, right?
Yeah,
definitely, man.
When you're by yourself, you can actually wince when you're drinking it instead of like when you're in front of a bunch of guys and you're like, this is smooth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's a beautiful song.
It's just amazing. 1 and 2 will be just guys that I've really, really been listening to the last several years. One of my guitar heroes, number 2, Brian Setzer. It's actually the Brian Setzer Orchestra, and it's Boogie Woogie Christmas. Just amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I mean, it just him and his orchestra firing on all cylinders, blazing a trail, and just rockabilly big band perfection doing Christmas music.
Yeah. It catapulted them too, didn't it? Don't you think, to a new
audience? Yeah, the orchestra surely did. Absolutely.
It did. Yeah. And then the Christmas was the Christmas album, or when you first put that out, that was like that punch on your way down to the canvas. It was just another punch that got him up another level.
Yeah, man.
Because it came out of nowhere, the Brian Setzer Orchestra. It's just, he was gone for a long time off the radar, and he comes out with this juggernaut of an album and a live show, and then all of a sudden the Christmas album, and then one album after another. He just completely had a totally different career.
Man,
just unbelievable. Still,
and never, it's never gone down either. It's he just keeps getting better.
I recorded the I think it was in Japan. The VH1.
I saw that one. Yeah. There's
I haven't erased it. I watched it a couple times, man. It's still on my DVR.
We all take him for granted in that we think there's a kind of music that he does because he's so like a genre. We think there's several artists that play Brian Setzer kind of music, but he cross-pollinates with so many different genres that we kind of take him for granted, and that he's a rockabilly guy, but he's got so much jazz, blues, and country in his playing, man. He's not just a rock and roll hillbilly player, he's just ridiculous.
And he came in the most, the Stray Cats period, they came at a time when they were the most uncool thing
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I think they kind of started a bit of a revival on the look. At least, I mean, there was a lot of '50s influence in the '80s. Some of the new waves, you know, the way they dressed. You know, the Buddy Holly, in particular, the look of Buddy Holly became kind of the nerdy songwriter kind of, Elvis Costello, and there was a lot of that kind of the look of the '50s.
Right.
But what the Stray Cats did was just so gutsy. You know, we can do probably volumes on Brian Setzer and the Stray Cats. It's just
and the thing is, I was thinking about this earlier, is what made him and the Stray Cats so cool is it was so genuine. It wasn't, and I don't want to disrespect an entire genre of musicians, but with rockabilly in particular, it's kind of costume party, you know, a little bit poserish, or it can tend to be a little costume party-ish and poserish, because, you know, it's kind of like with a modern day white guy singing about, you know, working in the cotton fields or something. it's like just not genuine. Well, with, you know, when modern cats talking about their hot rod Lincolns and, you know, greasing back and whatever, you know, it's really hard to make that kind of music genuine. And the Stray Cats, even though they were in the '80s, man, you kind of forgot that, man, because they really were like, you know, 1957, you know, 1960, you know,
but with an edge,
right? Hot rod greasers with an edge and with the virtuosity of a jazz player, like a Hank Garland kind of, you know. Anyway, like you said, man, this is one pick that I have, and we talked about him this long. That's how much of an impact he's had on music. He's so underrated.
He is.
My number one pick right now is an amazing Christmas record, holiday record that just came out. It's a brand new record, came out for this holiday season. And it's an artist that I've really been excited about in the last few years, you know. And his name is J.D. McPherson. The record is Socks. Okay. There's a song on the record named Socks, and it's hilarious, you know. And it's that thing. It's about, you know, every guy can relate to getting socks on Christmas, and how crummy it is to just get socks or underwear.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a hilarious song about it, and I guess, you know, that made the title track. But the entire record is amazing. And here again, staying on the same spirit and vibe of Brian Setzer, in that there's a new artist that is genuinely getting that 50s, 60s vibe down somehow. You know, he's doing it, you know, his own way, modern way, but it's really got that old vibe. J.D. McPherson, check him out. Socks, man. Great holiday record, Christmas record.
And you recommend his other stuff too?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's I was a fan of him first, you know, just discovering this lone Christmas record.
Well, very cool, man. Hopefully, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm hungry for something right now, man. I've been kind of in a slump. I'm finding new stuff. It's been
if you know, just on the songwriting alone, you being a songwriter, he wrote these songs, and you know, it's kind of it's not easy to write a Christmas song, much less an entire Christmas record with lyrics. That's relevant, you know. So it's a great record, not just for a holiday record, but, you know, he shouldn't be forgotten with, you know, later on accolades for all the awards shows and all that stuff.
Yeah. Very cool, man.
Let's hear the Armando Vega top 5 list.
All right, man. For me, the first one, Elvis's Christmas album from 1957. It's everything you love about Elvis, man. You know it, and you know, it's besides the pop but you got in the rock and roll, you have the gospel side, and that's some of my favorite Elvis stuff, man. And you know, it's got traditional songs in there, and it has a couple of different, the gospel stuff is a little bit different. But I remember hearing that I was hearing a couple of these songs recently when I was in like a grocery store, and I remembered how great it was, and I spun the record a couple times, and great album. 57 was really good. One of our honorable mentions on there for that is Jolly Christmas from Frank Sinatra. 57. Those two were like probably the biggest Christmas albums of that time, probably.
I battled with whether Frank Sinatra should be on my top 5 list because there was some great,
yeah, man.
And
he says it with that accent. That's what I love about it. It's like he never tried to change that, his accent or anything.
Right.
He sings with the Frank voice, and that's what's great about it, man. I mean, these are a few of my favorite things, that kind of stuff, and it's
time awesome, capsule of misogyny in the lyrics too. It's like that's why funny. That broad is a tramp. He's canceled now, man. Entire hall of people, and he's like, that broad.
Yeah, you couldn't cancel Frank if you tried, man. Even today, if he was alive, he'd be like,
it's a product of the time,
He'd be yelling at his like social media manager, "Here, tweet the following."
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome. So then my number 4 would be Six String Santa, Joe Pass.
Oh man, all right.
That's a big recommend. It's a great album to put on in the background. You got traditional stuff. You also have, it's like 50%, non-traditional. One, he did a Happy Holiday Blues is his song, Joe's composition, and I'd say half the album, are traditional, and then the rest of it is composition. But it was great. It came out in '92. And really great. If you like Joe Pass, you like jazz, you're going to love this album. And I highly recommend it. I think it's streaming on Amazon, too, if you want to get it. My number 3 was the Best of collection of Christmas Rocks, Brian Setzer Orchestra, 2008.
Oh, okay. There you go.
They cheated and put all the albums together in one big, and they put it out. And I think it's got a couple of new tracks or whatever that he added to it, but that's got the entire collection. And so if you're looking to put them all on one, that came out in 2008. And then I struggled with the following 2. I'm a huge Tommy Emmanuel fan. I love his guitar playing, and he did 2 albums. The one, the All I Want for Christmas 2011 is probably the one that I favor the most. I think critically, Christmas Memories came out in 2016. That one's got a lot of love. And but All I Want for Christmas, what I love about Tommy, he's an instrumentalist. The melody, there's just this unbelievable way that he carries the melody and supports it. And with the bass and the melody, it's all done on one guitar, all done with like 2 microphones and a direct from his guitar, and it just the way the sound of the guitar, but also the way he dances around the melody with the bass notes and the harmony. And,
he's amazing,
and the melody just seems to, a lot of instrumentals, they seem to kind of, to me, like not the obviously guys like Joe Pass. But the guys that play by themselves and they're doing the melody, the harmony, and the bass, Chet Atkins style. A lot of it, you kind of feel that the bass, is taking a back seat,
right.
on the boom, on the, or that the melody is taking a back seat to when guitar players are really busy and they have this wealth of of tricks. They seem to kind of do a lot of pyrotechnics, and you hear a lot of slapping and tapping and hammer-ons and all this kind of stuff. And Tommy he's just all about the melody, and he really makes those songs pop. And he covers a pretty wealth of stuff there. And I highly recommend. Great album for just putting in the background, and if you're working or doing stuff around the house at Christmas, it's awesome.
Hey, he's recognized as one of the best guitar players in the world.
Yeah. And then I'm on the shredder rock side. I got to give it up to Gary Hoey, and Ho Ho Hoey number two. I think was the one he's put out three. This one came out in '97. He did it before anybody else. As far as on the shredder side, a lot of Christmas albums came out. He's all about the melody. His solos are great. He's came from a surf background, so there is that influence there. That surf influence, and that's what I think sets him apart from other shredders. But the his version of the Grinch is probably one of the best instrumentals I heard on the radio. Very popular, especially here in SoCal.
He's had such staying power, through the years. I remember when I first heard him on the radio back when they still played rock and roll on the major radio or commercial radio.
Yeah, he's originally from Massachusetts. He moved here, created quite a stir, and then now he lives in Dallas. I see him at the Dallas Guitar Show all the time. He just seems to pop in and really busy. I mean, he's got a tremendous amount of albums, like unbelievable. I mean, there's very few from like 91 to 2019. He's got very few gaps. Almost put out a record a year. Really prolific. And then my only other, I have an honorable mention, is A Twisted Christmas by Twisted Sister.
All right.
I bought that in the Warner. I was in Walmart. I saw it for like $3.99, and they did a great job. They sound like Twisted Sister, doing traditional Christmas music. Like they didn't change the songs. The songs are recognizable. They're not like, what is that? I hate when somebody does a cover of a song and it goes so far left that it doesn't sound like it at all. But I mean, they do. They do. "Come All You Faithful" is actually like the single from the album. But they do "Silver Bells." I saw "Mommy Kissing Santa." You can imagine Dee Snider's voice on that, right?
Yeah, on that one.
And they did that, and actually did a Christmas concert that was on VH1. Where they had the whole stage was decorated and like with the holiday spirit, and they have like elves coming out and they're in full costume. It's amazing if you can catch it, but it's also streaming on, I think it's on Amazon right now. Twisted Christmas. I think it's perfect for like, if you have a lot of rock and roll friends and they're coming over for a holiday get together. That's a great album to put on. Like I said, it sounds like a Twisted Sister album, and they didn't stray too far from the concepts of the songs. And I mean, there's not one clunker on the album, which is funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. Our top holiday picks, man. So what do you want to summarize yours real quick so people can look them up?
Sure. Yep. So I had number one, J.D. McPherson. The record is Socks. Awesome. Brand new Christmas record. Number two, Brian Setzer, Boogie Woogie Christmas. 3 was a song, the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. Number 4, Christmas with Willie Nelson. One of the all-time favorites for myself. 5, Freddie King, Christmas Tears.
Fantastic, man. And I want to throw in one more. I forgot. Yeah. When I was telling you that I remembered, it's Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton Christmas album called Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I bet that's great. I love Islands in the Stream.
So cool. It's like picture that song, but an entire Christmas album. And there's 4 Dolly songs.
Christmas record?
That she wrote.
Of course, man. She's just a badass.
She's a badass. And these songs are like, I mean, we sing them every year, man. But yeah, that's a great one. You can find that streaming just about anywhere. Highly recommended.
I don't know.
So, right, Ben, there you go, man. The music session, top favorite holiday albums from your friends, Tony and Armando. Let's talk about gear, man.
Oh, man, yeah.
What is your choice for the number one gear release of 2020?
So this is a funny choice. It's it's my number one. I know it's my number one, but it's a product I haven't even heard yet in person.
Okay.
So just the idea of it is number one.
I like it.
I've always, if given my choice for one guitar, like just, you know, this is your one guitar. This is all you can play and tour with.
Right.
I've always wanted to make the Fender Esquire work for me. I've always wanted a killer Esquire, but I really, really, really miss the neck pickup when it's not there. I realized quickly that my ear needs that neck pickup in some way, shape, or form. I can't go all night just using the bridge pickup.
Yeah, you're right.
So Seymour Duncan has released the Secret Agent. Now he banded together with Brad Paisley on this, I believe. It was a joint idea, but it's called the Seymour Duncan Secret Agent pickup, and it hides under your neck cavity, under your Esquire pick guard, making it like a regular Tele. Now, it doesn't sound exactly like a Tele neck pickup, but they did get close to it from what I've heard of it online. I have a new guitar company that I'm talking about at some point, and I'm going to try one of my first models. I'm going to try the Secret Agent pickup.
So it mounts to the body.
Well, I think it just somehow. I think with foam spacers, you get it to press up against the pick guard.
Wow!
But it in between, it's stuck in between the pick guard and the body in the cavity, same cavity that your neck pickup would have.
I see it. Yeah, now I see that.
It's a regular pickup. It's flat. It doesn't have protruding, hole pieces, and it's up against the pick guard. You don't see it. You just see a regular Esquire,
Unbelievable. I saw the final version. Very cool.
What he's done is, they're kind of mimicking that neck pickup tone. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit darker, I'm sure, because it's not right up against the string. But it is a little bit higher output to make up for the difference. For it not being close to the strings. But I have one. I have actually got it in my possession, but I have not wired it. It's going to be one of my first guitars. So anyway, that's my number one top pick.
That's a neat idea, man.
Yeah. I've been kind of waiting for it my whole life,
Yeah, I mean, because I definitely feel you on the Fender Esquire. I mean, you once you start modifying it, you're getting away from the original intent.
Yeah.
I see it though. I'm like, looks like it's retailing for $130, which isn't bad.
Yeah,
it's on Seymour Duncan's custom shop website. Super cool, man. I really dig that. Oh man, that's a great recommend. It's affordable. Make a nice little post-holiday gift for yourself.
Yeah,
very cool.
Hot rod your Esquire.
And these are, by the way, these recommendations are not sponsors. We'd love to have them sponsored, but this is just this is real deal Holyfield. It's coming from what we really like. So just so you guys know that. Very good.
Truth.
All right. So my top gear pick is the Spark 40 amp from Positive Grid.
Yeah, man, I've been curious about that. Tell me about it.
Unbelievable. Okay, so I first saw the launch video, and I'm a product geek just like you, and like you, these videos come out of nowhere and and then hypnotize you, and that's the thing, man. That these algorithms do, right? So they know you're, and so I saw this video, and immediately I love small little practice amps that you can hide in your house, that your wife or
your wife loves it too.
Yeah, because it looks cool and retro, So I mean, immediately when I saw it, I was like, okay, this looks cool. And it's their Spark 45. It's a smart little guitar amp that is built to jam along with you. So you lonely players at home that need this, are tired of playing along with a metronome, or this is a perfect kind of gift for you. It is. Once I saw it, so what happened was it was kind of crowdfunded. They didn't distribute this to normal stores. They put out this video, got everybody excited about it back before January last year, and they said, buy it now for this really affordable price, and then when we build them, we'll start sending them out. And they told everybody it's going to take 5 or 6 months. So people started sending in their money, and then they got their amp, and then I came in. Obviously, I'm not an early adopter as much of a gear geek as I am. It takes me a year or two because I'm very cautious about what I'm going to buy. So
that's good.
I'm a late adopter, and so I waited, and I kept waiting for them, but it got to the point where they're about to go into the stores, and then the price was going to go up. So I thought it was a really brilliant way of getting everybody in early, raising the money, building the product, and then putting it out. And they did it during COVID, which was really difficult. So there was a lot of complaining, obviously, and a lot of skepticism. But once I got it, unbelievable. So it's really small. It's got
what were some of the complaints? If you don't
know that they were like, "Hey, I paid for this. When am I getting it?"
Okay, yeah.
But as for everybody that got it was like immediately like in love with it. So it's obviously it's small, it's light, it's got 40 watts. It packs a punch. It's got Smart Jam, which basically is so one of the things is you really need a mobile device to control it. You need to either your smartphone or an iPad, tablet, and that app opens up the entire world. You can still use it without that. But if you really want to open up all the great features this amp has, you need the app. So the Smart Jam, you lay down a couple of bars of music, it develops a bass and a drum track to play with you.
What?
But the thing is, it's not always perfect, which is even better because how much more realistic is that?
Yeah, it's kind of like, right.
You're jamming with a drummer and a bass player, and you throw out a riff. They don't play it exactly how you hear it in your head, and that's jamming.
Right?
They make it better sometimes, right? It's like, a great bass player and a great drummer can take your riff and say, hey, we're going to make it better. And that's what I kind of liked about it. I've used that quite a bit, that feature. I really like the jamming side of it. Because
it's like having a writing partner or something, bringing something else to the table.
Yeah, and that technology's been there in Apple, but it's never been usable this way. Like where you immediately, it's got auto chords, so it'll take a song in your music library, and spit out the chords. And they're, like I said, they're not always, the voicings aren't always accurate, but it's great when you're jamming and you just find a song on YouTube. That's one thing. It'll find songs on YouTube for you, import it in real time, and then kind of give you the chords for it. And then you can jam along, and you kind of have, if you're going to solo all over it, you can at least know what keys are in there and what chords are there, so you can kind of bounce off that. It's got voice command, which I haven't really tried that much. It's got a great tone engine. You have plenty of amps and pedals and stuff to create a pedal board, which is kind of how it works. You pull out an amp, you pull out it gives you the choice of.
Hey, let me ask you this. Can you record a track and upload it to your computer?
You can. It is a home recording interface. It's
crazy.
Clunky. It's very clunky because most other interfaces, it's a USB in. You connect your guitar into that, and then you open the software on your computer, and that does enough normally. Even the most basic software with guitar plugins does enough. But what I will say is that the plugins that Positive Grid does are like really, really good. They're like some of the best in my opinion.
Wow.
So you have that at your disposal, and you have like thousands of presets that people have created. And here's another really cool thing for the home office or for your main office is that you can listen to music via Bluetooth from your phone into there. So now I listen to podcasts through there. I listen to music.
Can you play along with?
Yeah.
That's great.
So when so there's two things you can do on your phone with Bluetooth. there's a Bluetooth to control the amp, and then you have a separate Bluetooth to play music through the amp. Nice. When you play music through the amp, it puts you right in the stereo field in the center channel. So you're right in the mix, and you have a tap tempo, so you can adjust yourself to the tempo. So your delays are kind of work perfectly with the amp.
Man,
like I said, the home recording's good. It's decent. I don't really see a point other than
little demos.
Unless you don't have any other interface, or if you're new to it and you got GarageBand or you got a free piece of software to record to, it's really easy to connect. But it's really clunky. The monitoring is really weird. Like you have to adjust the monitoring and the input, and it's not as simple, but it still works. And so, it's for guitar, bass, and the acoustic usage. So it works for all of those. I think the acoustic stuff is better than most of the other little practice amps that I've used because there's more power. Some of the other practice amps that I've had in the past can't overpower a Dreadnought. So it's like,
right.
Might as well just play your Dreadnought, right? But this one has enough volume where you're actually, it's actually, pulling. I mean, it's competing with it. So I really give them kudos for that. It comes so you can select your amp, and that could be a bass, guitar, or acoustic, and they have from clean to high gain as much as you want. You have a compressor pedal. You have a noise gate, which you need for single coil on there, and it is a little bit noisy from time to time. You have a boost, a delay, a modulating effect, and a reverb pedal. And it has this board on the app, and you could switch and swipe stuff out. And it's got all the classic stuff like the red compressor and the Phase 90. And so it's got just enough. And it's not so complicated where you're not messing with the mic placement. You're not messing with the cabs. It gets really intense when you have that kind of editing power. You have too many choices sometimes. So what I like about it is that you don't have a lot of choices. And
so how much?
$249, man.
$249.
$249.
Made in China?
I think so. Yeah, made in China. Positive Grid guys. If you go to positivegrid.com, they have specials all the time. You can get it with a gig bag, and you get a little extra. You can get it with Sennheiser mics. But
at that point was ridiculous. I didn't realize it was that.
Yeah. That's the buying direct part that really what I loved about it. It's like you're buying directly from them. I mean, I love my stores and I want them to sell stuff, but we also, this is kind of a unique way of launching a new product, and I love it. It's not too hard to use. I was a little scared about having to be reliant on the app. But once you find your 5 unique sounds, you just store them on the presets on your amp, and then you don't even have to connect to your amp, and you could just kind of, press the 5 presets, and then you have enough buttons to change everything, just about everything. You can't really change. You can't turn off and on your noise gate or your boost, but you can certainly, do the boost preset 1 without the boost, preset 2 with the boost, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And I found it very useful. Very useful. I highly recommend the Spark 40.
Man, those are 2 really good pieces of gear,
Yeah, man. And both of them are like a tool that'll help you get the sound you're looking for. One helps you practice more, and the other one turns your Fender Esquire into a modern Fender-ish.
Yeah, man,
so you got to get that doodly doo neck pickups.
Exactly, man.
So when you do arpeggios, he goes.
Yeah, man. We call for the Phrygian sweeps
on a Fender Esquire. That's so awesome. All right, man. Let's switch gears and head over to the movie.
Movies.
Let's have a movie sesh, bruh.
Let's go to the movies, man.
Totally, I miss the movies. Have you gone to any since
No,
CD?
No,
I went
man.
once.
I have not.
I went to.
What was that like?
Once.
Was there
sad.
other people there?
It was super sad.
It was the whole movie experience thrives on people going to go see the movie.
Yeah.
And be packed elbows to knees,
It was extra sad because it's a theater right down the street that my family and I have gone to for years, where we could walk down. One of the coolest things about where we live is that we have an Edwards right down the street, a Regal, right?
Walking distance.
And walking distance, literally like 2 blocks away. So we went to go see Unhinged, which was great.
Unhinged. You refresh my memory. Which one is that? Is that the Russell Crowe?
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Okay, yeah.
Karen Pistorius.
Age movie, right?
Yeah, it came out in August, directed by Derek Borte.
Okay.
Anyways, and it was a good movie. It was a really good watch. I thought Karen Pistorius was amazing, and anyways, Russell Crowe was great. But we were the only people in the theater, and it was the last movie they'll ever show because they're closing for good.
Just that, Edwards, or is Edwards actually closing?
All of them. 600 locations. There's only going to be like 5 of them or 6 of them left in the United States, and they're in California.
That's crazy because that's the actual theater I go to. I go to an Edwards theater the last several years.
There's a website.
20 years.
There's a website that'll let you know if it's still open. I mean, if yours is still open.
That's crazy.
Some have been taken over by independents. So, it is what it is. It's 2020, man. So I think it would be. There's 2 theaters there. One was modernized, the other one was normal. But I think at some point somebody's going to come in and because it's like it's already set up. Right. So. But I mean, it was sad because we were the last. It was the last movie showing. We were the last customers. It was like 9:00 at night, and so we were the last people to see a movie in there. And we walked out, and it was like pretty bummer, man, because except for 15, 16 years, we've been going there once a week, twice a week.
Yeah.
What was the AMC when we were living together in Burbank? I mean,
man, AMC.
We used to hit
AMC.
Once a week.
AMC owned the game. I mean, it was all about AMC back in the 90s.
I got to give you credit, man. You're one of the only people I've ever seen sneak in an entire Carl's Jr. meal into the movies with no problem.
Yeah. If you're lucky enough to be listening, man, we used to sneak all kinds of stuff into the theaters. We used to go to, back then they had the dollar movies. Now I don't know if that exists anymore, but they had the dollar movies, where you would go see a movie that's not at the main theaters anymore.
Yeah.
Before it goes to rental, it would go to the dollar movies.
Yeah.
So I would sometimes go to the grocery store across the street and buy things you couldn't get in a movie theater.
Yeah.
And one time in the middle of the movie, I busted out with a pint of Haagen-Dazs.
Yeah.
A pint of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I had these baggy pants, and I had an entire pint of ice cream with me.
That's awesome, man. Very highly credible.
Subway sandwiches. We used to do the sandwiches all the time,
Oh yeah, man. I had a rain jacket that I would take to the movies. Whenever we used to rehearse in my cover band. Like we were supposed to rehearse twice a week, but we only do like twice a month. But I would still go to rehearse once, because it was the man cave, right? And you play loud. So anyways, there was a dollar theater. It was like $3. Legendary place in Southgate. And I used to always like, wait, what's showing there? So I took in a lot of horror there. But this jacket would allow me to bring in an entire Subway. Like I had a perfect pocket to put a Subway sandwich in. And but I would buy the drink. I didn't want.
What's funny is when I did the Carl's Jr. or whatever I brought in is the smell of the food is unmistakable.
Oh, yeah.
That it's not theater food. So you always get the rubberneckers. Kind of like, what did they sneak in?
A Western bacon cheeseburger. What the?
That's funny.
Good stuff, man. All right, let's get into it, man. We went through. We wanted to give you guys some holiday horror movie recommendations because, maybe save you a little time so you don't sift through it. We don't have too much time, but you can watch these after the holidays. That's the beauty of horror.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's run through. So give me some of your recommendations, man. You don't have to go in order, but what do you have?
Here's what I have, and maybe you can help me with research on one of them. Anyway, so Black Christmas. Let's talk about that. Black Christmas is considered like the first body count slasher movie. You can make the argument that Psycho was first, which it is, but I see Psycho as more of a complete film, not so much a body count slasher movie. Anyway,
agreed.
So it was, John Carpenter has talked about it being, if there was no Black Christmas, there would be no Halloween. And so I've been meaning to watch it for really a long time. I finally finished it last night. Finally watched it. It was very unique. It was not what I expected. It was creepy. And in the end, it's kind of, maybe you took away something different, but in the end, it was more of a question mark to me than I thought I would have. It's not conclusive,
Did you see it? Have you seen it before?
I think I may have seen it years and years ago, but I did not remember this one. So I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, I was guilty of not seeing it either. When you recommended it and kind of told me the history behind it, I said, well, let me dive in because I had recorded the new one, which hasn't really fared very well with critics.
Yeah.
But then when I looked this one up, it's exactly what you said. It was a big influence on John Carpenter. And a lot of people do say that it did launch the slasher genre. So that's interesting that it would happen.
If anybody wants to look it up, it's the 70s version. I think it's like 1974 or something, somewhere about.
Currently on Shudder, right?
Currently on Shudder, yeah.
Yeah, I love the atmosphere. It was very Christmassy without doing it on purpose. Like it had nothing to do with the plot in a way, but just the lighting, the house, the snow, and all that. It really did. It was really nice to cuddle up by the tree and watch a horror movie, and it was. I thought it was really well made. I put it on my recommends too.
Definitely, and a couple of mentions about the film, and I'll have to ask you if you caught this. Anyone who has seen When a Stranger Calls, the first 15 minutes of When a Stranger Calls, I just found out just by looking at Black Christmas that there would be no When a Stranger Calls if it wasn't for Black Christmas. So, but the whole movie is basically like the first 15 minutes of When a Stranger Calls.
Yeah, that was really like. That was kind of a twisty for me, even though it wasn't really a plot twist, but it was like, that's what inspired that, because that's a awesome movie in itself. Stranger Calls. If you haven't seen that one, I'm wondering I think this had a different name at one point too, like called Stranger in the House or something like that. I can't remember if I was looking it up, but
Black Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that. Even though it's a Christmassy, Christmas time movie, I can see it not having that title. The title is a little bit deceptive.
Yeah, highly recommended though. Definitely, watch it now while it's on Shudder.
I do have a modern day recommendation. This one kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting much. It's called Better Watch Out. Which, as it turns out, you had sent me a list of the top rated on Rotten Tomatoes, the top rated Christmas horror movies. It was a list, like a top 25, and I just made note of the top 10 as opposed to going over every movie.
Sure.
And Better Watch Out is number 2.
I was surprised at that.
89%. Yeah.
I'm not sure where it's streaming, but I'm going to try to catch that one.
So I just recommend better watch out. But I think it was an Amazon.
Okay, I'll look it up
for me.
Yeah, I got a couple more left in me to watch.
And then every true horror person, I think, will like this recommendation if you actually look it up and watch it. And it's a Tales from the Crypt episode, the Christmas episode, Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, wow.
It just really, it's one of those things that stayed with me, over the years. And it involves, a Santa style serial killer. And, I don't know the name of the episode.
Yeah.
We'll look it up at some point. But Tales from the Crypt, Christmas episode.
Love
involving, and yeah, it's really fun.
Very
anyway,
cool,
those are my picks.
Well, are Tales from the Crypts? Are they streaming anywhere?
You, if you're an Amazon Plus, Prime. I'm sorry, Amazon Prime member. You have access to them.
Oh, look it up. Wanted to.
For anybody that doesn't know, Tales from the Crypt was a anthology series on HBO. So it was, rated R, had gore and, adult situations. And it was, 30-minute show. Really
I would
fun.
love to see it from beginning to end,
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones.
I know I missed a lot because we didn't have HBO.
Okay, well, there you go.
Remember, but in the early days, you need to just go have a sleepover and then put the kid to bed.
Right.
Back then, not everybody had cable, and then when we finally got cable, we became expert watchers. But I don't think we had HBO and Showtime, right? We just had the basics. Who knows? Can't remember. But I saw that. Let me see. So let me go through my list here. Speaking of old school cable, horror movies, Christmas Evil. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I've heard it. I've heard of it, but I don't think I know that.
1980, and it's a deranged Santa, slasher, psycho thriller. It's probably was influenced by Black Christmas, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The other one is super gory. But takes part. There's not a lot of Christmas stuff involved, but if you can handle the gore, I would say the movie Inside. The Inside took part in the holidays. It is one of the goriest movies I've ever seen.
It's number 4 on the Rotten Tomatoes list, 85% rating. Yeah.
French.
I was going to say it's a foreign movie.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen that one. Brutal. I went through a big list of brutal movies that were recommended by the bass player Alex Webster in Cannibal Corpse was on a horror podcast, and he had a list of French movie. He was really diving into the French movies, and Inside was one of the ones that came out, and I thought was actually pretty good. Another recommendation I have is A Christmas Story, 2015. Currently on Shudder. It's not perfect by any sense of the word.
It's called The Christmas Story?
A Christmas Horror Story.
Oh, okay. Okay, A Christmas Horror Story.
Oh, yeah. Did I say Christmas Story?
Yeah. Freudian sleep. So that's also on the Rotten Tomatoes list. That's number 5.
Yeah, that one's a good one. It's not perfect by any sense of the word, but it does have William Shatner. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it is a kind of an anthology film of sorts. What it does is it has several stories all flowing at the same time.
Wow.
So you gotta be on your toes. It kind of creates kind of a disjointed, vibe, but at the same time, it was still pretty enjoyable for your holiday list there. And then Black Christmas, I agreed with you on that one. I have that one. Krampus, big fan of the movie Krampus.
I thought it was pretty entertaining.
It's entertaining. I saw it with my kid again last night. I think she checked her phone twice. So that's a good sign. When you only check your phone twice, that's good for a teenager. So yeah, I like the atmosphere. I also, I mean, it's a high budget, so they are, it's an entertaining movie. It looks great on the big, on your small big screen. But
Right.
I enjoyed it. It was kind of similar to Black Christmas. You get a weird ending that you don't know where to go with it. Is there going to be a part 2? Probably not, but it's the way it is, and you just got to like fill in the rest. And sometimes movies just end and leave you hanging. And then Gremlins, 1984, man. Classic. It's got Phoebe Cates. Enough said. And
that's number 3 number 3 on the Rotten Tomatoes.
One thing from Rotten Tomatoes that I got that was number 1 was Rare Exports.
Yeah,
I saw that.
That's strange. The thing is that the list is compiled by the percentage rating. So
yeah,
if there's 10 people that give Rare Exports, right, 100 grade, then it'll go ahead of some classic, because it's just a law of averages.
Yeah.
There's a million people that chimed in on, Gremlins. So it is a little bit deceiving, as far as compiling a list based on just percentage.
I saw it. I wouldn't put it on my top list, but
Rare Exports. You thought
it was okay. It's it's a foreign film. It's comedic. It's definitely warrants another watch. I was getting a little sleepy towards the end, and I don't really know how it ended. But I think it's since it got that number 1 spot, I think I'd say approach with caution, and if you have time to watch it, give it a shot. I didn't put it on my radar, but I thought since it's number 1, I should mention it, and maybe somebody out there might want to send us a comment, tell us you guys are out of your minds. That's the best movie I've ever seen. But those are all great recommends. I think there's so many out there, and I think it's all subjective. And
definitely,
I think I'm going to take in a couple more before the end of the holiday season, and which brings us to our main feature for this episode,
the Creep Show Holiday Special 2020.
What's up? So
another Shudder exclusive. There again, we're not sponsored. We just dig the app, dig the channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm having a blast with it. So, what's the synopsis on this film?
So the episode's called Shapeshifters Anonymous. Fearing he's a murderer, basically a werewolf. The protagonist thinks he's a werewolf. An anxious man searches for answers for his unique condition from an unusual support group. So basically, it's a meeting. It's Addicts Anonymous meetings for shapeshifters. So, there's about 5 characters in the room, and it plays kind of like a humorous Twilight Zone episode.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and each person there is claims to be a shapeshifter. In other words, there's a werewolf, there's a cat woman. This guy thinks he's a turtle or a frog. I forget.
He's a weird turtle. Man.
He's a weird turtle. So, needless to say, it's all very tongue in cheek, humor driven. Yeah. It's not a serious episode. That's trying to scare you. Yeah. They definitely went the lighthearted kind of holiday route. So it's definitely over the top, hokey, a lot of comic relief, but it's intentional. And you can tell that they have a shoestring budget. They usually wait till the end of the episode, to show any kind of practical effects or. But
that's a classic approach too.
Yeah, man. Definitely. There's builds tension. You're not showing all your cards all at once.
Yeah. So we see.
Armando and I are both products of the '80s, and that was a golden age of low budget horror. Because of the video rental.
Yeah, and before that, you had Creature Feature,
Yeah.
Which was all movies from the 50s and 60s, and you'd have to wait almost the entire. You'd have to wait till the third act before you get a peek at the creature.
Right. Exactly.
And it was just kind of a style at the time. So let me see who we have. We have Ann Camp from Picture Perfect, who plays she's the Were Kitty, right?
Yeah, she's like running the meeting.
Yeah, and then Adam Pally, I guess he's from the Mindy Project. He looked really familiar. I thought he was great at playing this disheveled, character.
Yeah.
This, of course, is directed by Greg Nicotero from The Walking Dead, and I guess he's also a protege, right, of Carpenter.
He's like Rob Bottin protege. I think it started in the makeup effects and stuff.
Wow,
which is how he wound up doing a lot of horror and stuff. Walking Dead, I think he designed all this special effects makeup too, is in addition to being a producer and director. So he's the mastermind. He's the showrunner for this Creepshow Creepshow series.
So this is based on a short story actually called The Last Call by J.A. Conrath, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about the writing on this show. If they were all just specifically written for the show, or if they were already.
This guy's got a ton of novels, man. He's more known for, I guess, Lieutenant Jack Daniels series. He's sold some serious books, man, like over 2 million copies of various stuff. He's also written funny erotica under a different name, which is kind of interesting, and then spy thrillers and stuff. So they definitely brought in some talent to for the script. This has never been published outside. It was a short story, so it was published under something called The Last Call, which is kind of interesting. I wonder how radically it changed, from that to a holiday special, like was it a holiday theme?
Yeah, it might not have even been humorous, the story.
I love the poster for the show too. It's so Iron Maiden, right? It's just very Iron Maiden. I wonder.
That's something I did want to say that I really liked about the series, whether you like the individual episodes or not. The Creeper is awesome. Just the effects or whatever, animation. It looks like there's not a lot of CGI in this series.
No,
very minimal
practical. Yeah, definitely practical effects, which was a great throwback, to me. So what'd you think overall of the special?
Overall, I like it. It was entertaining. My kid loved it. It was funny. But if I wasn't a product of the 80s, low budge, don't reveal anything until the end kind of a movie, or shows, then I probably would not have liked it as much. So it's kind of hard to recommend it. It's definitely worth the watch. It's not a full length movie. It's just a holiday special. Yeah. Yeah. So it's worth the watch if you want to be entertained. But if you're looking to be scared, it's not going to scare you, obviously. Not that kind of thing.
Not very scary, but definitely enjoyable. I think that would be if I had to summarize it.
The climax makes it worthwhile.
I think being a fan of the Creepshow movies definitely helped. Like in particular, like when they did that red and purple saturated light.
Yeah, they do a thing where it looks like basically like you're looking at a comic book.
Saturated
novel. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Saturated lighting, that's a big throwback. Except, like for the example, the prostate exam scene. It's such a creepy thing to do. I'm surprised more people haven't done it because it reminds me of right before. I forgot the name of the character when the box opens and the creature comes out and bites Adrienne Barbeau under the staircase. The crate, man, when it turns purple and red and you're expecting this big blast of orchestrated music, like, but it's not there. It's just lighting. But yeah, I thought that was a great throwback.
Oh man.
I thought there was some pretty cool plot points that were a little different. like the fact that werewolves in their world, in the shapeshifter world, are like the rock stars of shapeshifters. Meanwhile, when you're a turtle, you eat lettuce. It's like, so and I thought it was kind of funny that during the prostate exam, like buttons and zippers come out the guy. Like the leftovers, the bone, not bones, but you're actually.
It definitely were,
I had this funny
when they were writing it.
And I actually had this funny thought, like while he's doing that. It's like in my mind, I was like, I would probably strip people naked before I'd eat them, and I thought, another interesting plot point there was that, what the werecat, what Anna Camp's character said was something like, if given a chance, I guess they're called therianthropes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If given a chance, they usually choose wicked over good because creatures like them find evil is tastier. So I thought that was
pretty creative. Yeah.
Yeah. To take the guilt off.
It does close that loop. How can that person be good if they're killing people?
Yeah. Well, I would recommend it to fans of Creepshow, people my age group.
Sure.
I would definitely prepare them and say, hey, look, this is not scary. This is, in fact, at points campy and cheesy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's like, but I would say, if you haven't seen the Creepshows, watch those. If I had to rate it up against other films, I don't think it's really fair, in a way.
No, it's not. It's just another episode in an anthology series.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. If you're a fan of Creepshow, it was not written by Stephen King. A lot of them weren't.
Right.
But if you're a fan of Creepshow and you want to throw back and you want something fun and light to watch during the holiday season, I recommend it.
There is no Rotten Tomato rating. There's no consensus yet because it's not really a film. It's just part of the series.
Yeah. Reading the reviews on Shudder.com, looks like it was, a lot of people enjoyed it.
Okay.
And a lot of people feel like it was a fun watch. And I think to the people that are on Shudder, I think are going to get, the campiness and the cool side of it. There's a few people that didn't like it, but like I said, I don't think they're fans of the OG stuff.
Exactly.
And in closing, I got to look up to see if the artist that did this poster is the original artist that did the Iron Maiden stuff. There's something about the features,
right,
and the that Derek Riggs style, and he split up with them. He doesn't do their work anymore, and you could tell. It still looks great.
Sure.
But you can tell that
it's not the same style.
But I see him. But I'm wondering because I see him at like Monster Palooza, and he's selling a lot of stuff there, paintings and books and stuff like that. And I wonder, and I've seen Greg Nicotero walking around, as well.
Very, very possible.
He does signings.
Yeah, it's very possible. That's who.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very possible that Greg is a metalhead.
Yeah.
So it's I wouldn't be surprised if I had something to do that. So something to research.
You know what? What's funny is like Rick Baker, long hair, always has had long hair.
Yeah.
John Carpenter, that's long hair, always.
Yeah.
Rob Bottin, long hair, always. Greg Nicotero, long hair, always. Those guys have always had long hair. There's long-haired guys. I don't know if there's. I don't know what that means, or whether that's even notable. But it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. That's funny. Great stuff, man.
Yeah,
so there you go. There you have it. A Creepshow holiday special, currently streaming on Shudder. And I think you guys have a chock full of stuff to go through there, man. We are sorry we're a little late with this episode, but we had to wait for the Creepshow holiday special, and it is Christmas Eve right now.
Yep.
So
just in time for
Merry Christmas
Eve.
to all.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and have a happy New Year.
Happy holidays. Absolutely. So we don't really know what's up for the next episode, do we? I mean, do we have some rough ideas?
We might be. I don't know if in the next one, but we're definitely in the works to do a video version and an interview also.
Yeah. We're slowly but surely getting
Yeah.
there. And then thank you guys for all the support on episode 1. It's been climbing up the charts, literally.
Awesome.
You know, in audio format. It is on YouTube. If you know, I have a lot of friends that don't have podcast apps, but they go to YouTube all the time. So we put it up on there, and it's really easy to find. If you search our name, please, you know, like, follow, subscribe, review. It's available now on iTunes. It's available on Breaker, on Google Podcasts, on Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and of course Spotify. And we got an RSS feed. Yeah, you like, follow, subscribe, review, and share. So, do you have any plugs? Promoting any gigs?
No gigs. I do have, you know, I'm sure we'll be doing an episode on this as far as the music aspect. But I have a new guitar company, building guitar.
Oh wow!
It's a new business venture.
Nice.
So that's coming.
Cool, can't wait. Are you making any pointy ones?
No, but not as of yet. No pointy ones yet.
One of my goals for next year is to get myself finally a nice pointy electric guitar. I don't have a pointy one. I should have told Santa.
The Jackson Randy Rhodes.
I'm all over the place. Over the place. I can't make up my mind. I want.
Yeah.
It's when I'll know when I see it.
Do you remember? I don't know if you're familiar with the Robin wedge.
Yeah,
it's like the.
Didn't get any pointy. They still make those?
I don't know. No, Robin. They're not around anymore. But pointy as you can get.
Yeah, it's a never-ending quest. Because you can get really bad pointy guitars. I'm looking for that good one, man.
Okay.
And we'll see. I've been saying that for years. So basically, what I need is a metal guitar. I have like no metal guitar right now. Metal. No plugs from me, but you could find Tony at TonyVegaBand.com, right?
For sure.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on there. You could look Armando Vega or the Armando Vega. You can find me there. I don't have a .com. And that's it for now, guys.
Thanks.
Please stay safe.
Thanks for your support. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you soon. 2021.
Come on, bring it on.